cow eats...
More than a bird?
No. Hay. Lorraine, hay.
Oh.
A two-wheel vehicle that young people ride is a...
Volkswagen, sawed in half.
No, bike. Bike-o Landon.
And I'm Tom Kenny of our show, You Don't Say.
You Don't Say is being brought to you by Raleigh, Filter Tip, and Plain End, and by Light Vento, Bel Air. Now here again is Tom Kennedy.
Thank you. You've been our stars, Lorraine Day and Michael Landon. And now, meet our players for this evening. First, welcome Gene Peterson. Gene, good to have you with us. And here is her opponent. His name is Boyd Brown. Hi, Boyd. All right, now, my friends, the object, if you don't say, is to convey a famous name to your partner by making up a sentence, but leaving off the very last word. Now, that last word you leave off must sound like a part of the famous name. And that's the word you don't say. The sentence itself may not refer in any way to the famous name. The name may be dead or fictional. Each name gives you a point. 3 points is a game. Okay, Lorraine Day, Michael Landon, look at this first famous name.
He knew what to do with 76 trombones. Mr. Music Man, Robert Preston.
Lorraine, your team goes first. Remember, that missing word must not be a proper name. First clue is yours.
When you send your clothes out to the cleaners to be put back into shape, to get the creases back in, you say, I would like to have this suit
pressed. Preston? Robert Preston?
That is the name. Boy, that does it, huh? That does it, but fast. Very nicely done. The score is 1-0. Very funny, huh, Mike? Boyd Brown and Gene Peterson, would you look at our next name?
Long, tall, lanky, legendary figure who came from the pen of Washington Irving, Ichabod Crane.
All right, Boyd Brown, first clue is yours.
There's a very large piece of equipment that is used for hoisting, and this equipment has the same name as a bird that has a very long neck. And this piece of equipment that's used for hoisting is called a...
crane. Gene?
I'm sorry you gave a last and a first name, and that is not the right name. We go over now to Gene Peterson.
If you were fixing some biscuits at the dinner table and your wife had put a jar of honey on the table and you accidentally got some of this honey all over your hands and it was very gummy and gooey and bad, you might make a remark, an exclamation, and look at your hands and say,
Eek. Eek? Ugh.
You have 5 seconds, Mike. Time is up. Lorraine is chafing at the bit. Now, just wait till Boyd gives his sentence.
The opposite of good is...
Bad. Ichabod Crane.
That's the name. Ichabod Crane. 2-0. Boyd Brown's favor. Lorraine, Mike, next name.
What a birthday cake it must have required to hold the 969 candles of biblical Methuselah.
Lorraine, first clue is yours. Your partner has 2 points.
I have a feeling it would be. There is a school of acting to which Marlon Brando belongs, and others of his type. It originated in New York, and this method of acting is...
Yes, indeed. All right. Mike, we're over to you.
If you were going to sing a song, but you weren't going to sing the words to the song, you're just going to make noises. Some noises that people make when they do it, they go hum, 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 and some go tra.
La method. Methuselah. 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 Methuselah.
You have 5
Methuselah.
seconds.
Methuselah. Methuselah. Methuselah.
And your time is up. And, all right, Lorraine, next clue.
There is a word to identify a person when you are asking a question, which is also associated with an owl who sits in a tree, and you say that that owl sits there and...
Hoots. Hoots.
5 seconds.
Methuselah?
That's the name, yes, sir. Sure. Methuselah. Sure. Very nicely done. And Lorraine's disqualification was obviously she inadvertently said method, which was going to be her clue word. But she ended up with the game over here for Boyd Brown. This wins for you $100, sir. This bonus board now, the first clue is worth $300. Which clue would you like first, top, middle, or bottom, Boyd?
Middle, please.
The middle clue, here it is. Now, the numbers on the right give you the phonetic position of the missing word. Here's your first clue. Old cars were started with a...
Crank. 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 Crank.
You can take a guess. A name for $300.
Crank.
No name,
Frank.
huh?
Frank Howard.
I'm sorry, that's not right. Now, for $200, which clue next, top or bottom?
Top, please.
Top clue. We strolled down Lovers
Lane. Frankie Lane?
You're right for $200. And the bottom clue reads thusly. To open a lock, use a key. Cranky, Frankie Lane. You have a total of $300. And we'll be back to play more, if you don't say, with Lorraine Day and Michael Landon right after this message. At the conclusion of tonight's show, we will tell everyone, including Gene and Boyd, just where in the world they'll be going as our guests. And now I'm going to ask Gene and Boyd to look at our next name, brand new game.
His fame has exceeded the length of his name, poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Boyd Brown, first clue.
A person, a male person that you might refer to, who is a grand chap. You might refer to him as a grand chap. You might refer to him as other things. And you might also say he is just a swell
Guy? Swell fella? Fellow?
5 seconds.
Fellows? Fella? Fella?
The time is up. Over to you, Gene Peterson.
The opposite of short is...
Tall. Long. Longfellow.
5 seconds.
No. I don't believe it.
Mike, you have 5 seconds.
Let's give me a gun where you can blow my brains out.
Your time is up.
Imagine that.
Boyd Brown, next clue.
A female chicken is called a...
Hen. Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
That's the name.
You do that. You get her name and the other one leaves you.
I know the feeling, Mike.
You couldn't.
Lorraine, Mike, next name.
Who arrives on Sunday with a rich daddy and one red dress? Little Orphan Annie.
All right, Lorraine, first clue is yours this time.
A fellow who takes a knife and a stick, and he sits in the sun and just cuts away and cuts away.
Watch the gestures.
And cuts away and cuts away. People would say, well, that fellow does nothing but sit there and...
Whittle. Whittle. A little. Little. A little red.
5
little.
seconds.
Little. Little Lord Fauntleroy?
No, I'm sorry. That's a good try. All right, Mike.
There is an instrument. It's like a piano, except it has a lot of pipes, and it generally runs either with foot pressure or electric. You hear it in the church. And that instrument is called an...
Organ. Little organ. Little Orphan Annie.
That's the name. Right. I might comment, the reason...
Wadsworth Annie.
The reason they went for widow instead of little is because little Orphan Annie was little. She was an orphan. They could not refer to her with a sentence. So those were beautiful clues. And that ties the score up. It's 1-1. So, Boyd Brown, Gene Peterson, next name.
He made the midnight ride to warn that the British were coming. Paul Revere.
Gene, first clue.
Perhaps there is someone that you admire a great deal. Perhaps it's another actor, and you would like to be like them. You do not worship this person. He is not your hero. You do not put him up on a pedestal. But the word that I'm thinking of is things like this. He is your model or a very wonderful, great person. And this, or even if you're talking in religion about the deities, perhaps you could talk along this line, the feeling that you would have. This person you would
Idolize. Saint.
5 seconds.
Just after that sentence, I'm so exhausted. Take it away.
Your time is up. All right, Boyd.
Okay. Remembering that clue.
Remembering that long sentence.
But ignoring it for the meantime. A dog has at the end of his leg a...
Paul Revere.
That's the name. Hey. Lorraine, you certainly did remember that clue, didn't you?
I am.
Very nice. Okay, 2-1. It's nicely the way you capitalized on that, Boyd.
Great comic Buster Keaton.
Lovely Lorraine Day, the first clue is yours, and your partner has 2 points. It's a game point for him.
Well, someone who goes around breaking things. Could be called this, or somebody who does statues. Could, if you wanted to, and also an explosion, a tremendous explosion could be referred to as this, which is a...
Bust. Buster.
5 seconds.
Keaton.
Oh, you worked so hard for that, you deserved it. A guy who goes around breaking things is a buster. We all know. All right, Boyd, this wins for you another game, another $100. Your winnings so far are up to $400. Time once again for the bonus board. Which clue first for $300?
The last one, please.
The bottom clue. Here it is. And you know what the numbers mean on the right now. He waved his magic...
Wanda Hendricks?
No, I'm sorry. It's a good try, but now for $200, you want the top or middle next?
Middle, please.
Middle clue. Here it is. Pet a kitten, and it will...
Juan Perón.
That's right for $200. Beautifully fielded. Let's take a look at the top clue. The song goes to each his own, Juan Perón. And you have now a total of $600, Boyd Brown, and congratulations to you. Okay, Boyd and Gene, let's start a brand new game. Look at the next name, would you?
One of the finest American musical composers, George Gershwin.
Okay, Boyd, first clue.
Little Orphan Annie often made various exclamations, and she would make such things as, "Oh golly," and occasionally she would say something like that, and she would say, "Oh
Gee. Oh dear. Oh my. Oh boy.
5 seconds.
Oh Daddy Warbucks. Oh Stat Dandy. Arf, arf.
Gene, she used to say that.
Yeah, I know she
All right,
said it.
Gene Peterson, next clue.
The opposite of boys is
Girls. Girls. Girling? Girl sing? Girl sew.
5 seconds.
Girls sing. Girls sing and boys dance.
Time is up. Back to you, Boyd.
If you don't lose, you must.
Win. Gershwin. George Gershwin.
That's the name. I'm sorry, the real name was Sam Glorioski. That's the first thing I think of. That was a very extraordinary clue you gave there. Girls win for Gershwins, but it won a point for you, Boyd Brown. And we'll be back.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
We'll be back to play more if you don't say with Lorraine Day and Michael Landon right after this message.
Each contestant on tonight's show receives the new You Don't Say home game available wherever good games and toys are sold. And for their overseas travel, a matching 5-piece set of lightweight fiberglass reinforced luggage, fashion approved for smartness, lightness, and roominess by American Tourister.
All right, Lorraine Day and Michael Landon, next name.
He was the first to write The Last of the Mohicans, James Fenimore Cooper.
Lorraine, first clue's yours.
I have a feeling that this is a profession, too, of putting bands around barrels, but I'm not sure. So I would say that maybe somebody who puts hens in their little nest to go to bed in their little houses would be called a...
Handler? Nester?
5 seconds.
Better?
The time is up. Mike?
There is, you could say that this is a chicken something. It's a house for chickens. And also there is a small two-door car. Where, you see an ad in the paper when they sell a car, and they say it's a two-door...
sedan. Cooper.
5 seconds.
Gary Cooper.
I'm sorry, it is not Gary
So
Cooper.
quick, what a name there, please.
Boyd.
I'm to give it to him.
I'm sorry, Lorraine. I'm sorry. Yes, it's your next clue.
There are things that you play that are lots of fun. This is a show that is called that type of a show. Some shows are called drama shows, some shows are called quiz shows, and there are other things that are called this kind of a show. Also, children do this when they go outside. Hopscotch is one of them. Run, sheep, run. Kick the can. And these are called...
James
5
Cooper?
seconds.
James.
Your time is up, and we go over to Michael Landon. Go with the next clue, Mike.
Something that has a lot of pickets in it that goes around your property is called a...
Fence. James Fenimore Cooper.
That is right. Yes, Lorraine, incidentally, you were right. A barrel maker. It is a Cooper.
It's a Cooper.
Yeah. Okay, 1-1 is the score. Boyd Brown, Gene Peterson, next name.
Fights for a living. Doesn't everybody? Ezzard Charles.
Gene, first clue.
In your Western series, when somebody is out on the lone prairie and the bad guy has shot him and he's dead and there's nobody around, there are some birds who come flying and they hover over this person And they're not nice birds. And they're just not nice birds. And these birds, one of these birds is called a...
Vulture. A hawk? It's not a nice bird. A vulture, a hawk, an eagle, a scavenger.
5 seconds.
Oh, my birds are nice.
Your time is up. Boyd,
Blank.
next clue is yours.
Remembering again that clue. You can't. There's out there in this desert, there's another animal other than this one, and it is long, has a tail, and it looks something like a snake, but it comes from a prehistoric time. And it has a long tail on its 4 legs, and this is called a...
Lizard. Gizzard.
5 seconds.
Ezzard. Ezzard.
Your time is up, my dear. And we go back to Jean.
If you have a barbecue in your backyard, there is a substance that you put in the barbecue that you light and use to cook the steak or hamburger that you're fixing. There is also another way to describe this when you're ordering a steak. If you don't want it rare or medium or well, you want it more than well, and it's black all over. And this is called...
Chard. Chard, Ezzard? Ezzard Charles?
That's the name.
What were you...
Ezzard
Buzzard.
He was going for the buzzard.
Don't you understand that we don't have buzzards on our ranch? We only have birds with little white hats. Good birds.
Yeah, 2-1 is the score here. Lorraine, Little Joe, next name.
Russian novelist whose name is equally novel, Dostoevsky.
All right, Michael. Mike, your partner has 2 points. This is game point for her. First clue is yours.
In the Spanish language, the numbers in the Spanish language, just small numbers, start out with number 1, which is uno, and number 2, which is
Dos. Dos. Dosey. Dos.
5 seconds.
Dosing. Dost. Dost.
Your time is up. Your time is up.
and that's a wrap.
All right. Our time is up, and Gene Peterson, the score is 2-1. Since you are ahead, you will get the $100. And this gives you $600, Boyd Brown, you, Gene Peterson, $100. We'll be back to tell you where in the world you'll be going as our guest, right after this message. Incidentally, the name was Dostoevsky. And now, Gene and Boyd, both of you, will be our guests as you fly by Pan American Jet Clipper to Honolulu. You're going to love it. And while you're vacationing in Hawaii, you will stay at one of the most extraordinary and exotic hotels in the world, the Hilton Hawaiian Village. You will have nothing but a ball. A 20-acre paradise of sun and surf. And I'm sorry to say that's it for tonight. And we want to thank very much Lorraine Day and Michael Landon for playing a beautiful game. It's been a lot of fun. Much indebted to you. We hope that you can join us tomorrow for our daytime version of You Don't Say, 5 days a week here on NBC. Next Tuesday night, our guest stars will be Arlene Dahl and Barry Sullivan. Till then, Tom Kennedy reminds you it's not what you say that counts, it's what you don't say. Good night.
You Don't Say is a Ralph Andrews, Bill Yeagerman production. Prizes and promotional fees furnished by Pan American Airlines, American Tourister Company, and Hilton Hotels. Now Richard Boone stars as the Hooligan, a comedy drama on The Richard Boone Show, next on NBC. This program was pre-recorded.
produced in color in association with the NBC television network.
Jane Wyman, Jack Jones, and Liza Minnelli had an all-star cast on the Bell Telephone Hour. In color tonight at 10, 9 Central Time on NBC.